All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. This time we're back with a thread response video. This is for Norman Maslow, Mazzy, and he did a video on tribute to tribute albums, which I thought was a great idea for video. You can check out his video. He has a great selection of tribute albums, and I thought that was a great idea. I'm a huge fan of tribute albums or that idea, and yeah, so I thought I'd respond with my selection. Now you're going to see some that were in Mazzy's that are in mine, but yeah, so let's get to it. Now, again, these are all on CD, so there's no vinyl, and especially when tribute albums were really big, was through the 90s, early 2000s, that sort of thing. So we're going to start it off with Black Sabbath. This is a Nativity in Black, a tribute to Black Sabbath. This came out in 1994. And like Mazzy, I'm going to take them out of the jewel case so you can see the cover a little bit better, which is a nice idea. It kind of cuts down on the glare as best we can. So yeah, quite a selection of artists covering Sabbath tunes like Megadeth, White Zombie, even Ozzy Osbourne's on this, along with Bruce Dickinson, Ugly Kid Joe, Faith No More. And there's some really nice artwork with regards to this, and they have sort of a different piece of artwork for each song. And I'll just quickly show it to you. Of course, it folds out like a like a cassette sort of thing, but we'll see if we can get most of these in the shot here. There's some very interesting artwork. Okay, and there you go. But now it's now I have to refold it like a road map here, but I'll do that on my own time. So there you go. I've got two Buddy Holly tribute discs. This one's called Not Fade Away, tribute to Buddy Holly. This came out. When did this come out? This was in the 90s, I believe. Yeah, 1996. And I'll just quickly take it out of the jewel case here so you can see it. Nice tribute disc overall. This one, as I recall, kicks off with a Buddy Holly song. Buddy Holly doing Peggy Sue Got Married, but it's also got the Mavericks on here, Nancy Griffiths. It's got the Tractors, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Marty Stewart, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Waylon Jennings, and Mark Knopfler, to name just a few. But you can see the lists of the artists there. And really nice overall. And another Buddy Holly tribute. This came out a few years back, 2011. I think this was roughly with another Buddy Holly sort of reissue program. This is called Listen to Me, Buddy Holly. And again, great selection of artists on this one, including you've got Jackson Browne, Eric Idle from Monty Python, Lyle Lovett, Jeff Lynne, Stevie Nicks, Linda Ronstadt, to name a few, all covering Buddy Holly classics. Really nice. Okay, Amnesty International have released a couple of discs over the years, obviously for a good cause, but they've had sort of artist spotlight or artist focus, much like this one. This is called Instant Karma, the Amnesty International campaign to save Darfur, and of course featuring the music of John Lennon. Great selection. This is a 2-disc set. Features U2 covering Instant Karma, REM doing Number 9 Dream, Christina Aguilera doing the song Mother, also Aerosmith, Lenny Kravitz, Avril Lavigne, Jackson Browne. But a nice 2-disc set for this, covering a great selection. And this came out in 2007. 2-disc set. And this was amazing. Amnesty International, Chimes of Freedom, the songs of Bob Dylan. This is a 4-disc set. And Adele's on here. Also Dave Matthews Band, Elvis Costello, Eric Burdon. You've got Lenny Kravitz, again, Maroon 5, Mick Hucknall, Miley Cyrus. This is, and there's the listing of the artists there. And a 4-disc set. This was quite an ambitious project. Unbelievable. Okay, this is a real favorite. George Martin, In My Life, which I think qualifies because this is George Martin getting artists together doing the music of the Beatles. And this came out in I think it was 1998. And you've got Goldie Hawn, Jeff Beck, Celine Dion, and certainly noted for Jim Carrey doing a version of I Am the Walrus. There's the listing of the artists there. And oops, there's the cover there. Love the cover. Lovely disc. I believe Mazzy's shown this one, the songs of Leonard Cohen, Tower of Song, the songs of Leonard Cohen. This came out I think 1995. And as Mazzy says, it's interesting for these tribute albums that kind of came out in the mid 90s. They do often feature the artists popular at the time, like Don Henley, Elton John, Billy Joel, Bono. That sort of thing. But this is really a nice tribute disc for Leonard Cohen. I think Mazzy showed this one as well. This is the Sun Record Company tribute, Legacy of Sun Records. This is really a great disc overall. This has Paul McCartney, Jeff Beck and Chrissie Hynde, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, Elton John, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, all doing Sun Records tracks. See if we can get that in for you. Really nice disc. Really enjoyed that one. This one came out, I think this was 2001 for that one. This one I don't see talked about too often. This is called Rhythm, Country, and Blues. And this came out in 1994. And the idea behind this one was it was duets through this one, be it a country artist or a rhythm and blues artist or the other way around, covering either country songs or rhythm and blues type songs. I thought it was a really nice idea for a project. For example, Vince Gill and Gladys Knight together covering Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing. Al Green and Love It doing Funny How Time Slips Away. Aaron Neville and Trisha Yearwood doing I Fall to Pieces. Little Richard and Tanya Tucker doing Something Else. And I believe this is one of the last projects for Conway Twitty, because you have Sam Moore and Conway Twitty doing Rainy Night in Georgia. How about that? But yeah, it's a really... thought it was a great idea for a project, for a disc. I'm surprised they didn't do a volume 2 on this, but that was a really nice album overall. Okay, I do have a couple of Jimi Hendrix discs, tribute discs. So this is Power of Soul, tribute to Jimi Hendrix, and this came out on the Experience Hendrix label. And it's got Lenny Kravitz, Eric Clapton, of course, Prince, Santana, Earth, Wind and Fire, Sting, Stevie Ray Vaughan, to name just a few. Again, this was... let's see if we can... there you go. Again, that was on the Experience Hendrix label. This was certainly a popular one at the time. Stone Free, a tribute to Jimi Hendrix. And again, featuring, shall we say, the usual suspects. Well, it kicks it off with The Cure doing Purple Haze. Then you've got Eric Clapton doing Stone Free. Spin Doctors on this, Buddy Guy, along with Seal and Jeff Beck, The Pretenders. So I shouldn't say the usual suspects, but an interesting group overall, group of artists. And this one came out in 1993. Okay, a tribute to Led Zeppelin. Encomium, I believe is how it's pronounced. Tribute to Led Zeppelin. Not a typical list of artists on this one, because you have 4 non-blondes, Hootie and the Blowfish, Sheryl Crow, Stone Temple Pilots. So not a typical selection. I think even Robert Plant is featured on this. As we have Robert Plant and Tori Amos doing Down by the Seaside. And this, when did this come out? I think it came out, the writing is so small on this. I think it came out in like the late 90s, something like that. But yeah, a tribute to Led Zeppelin with not a typical list of artists. So there you go. Okay, Mazzy definitely showed this one. 2 Rooms, celebrating the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Great disc that came out in 1991. I like Phil Collins' version of Burn Down the Mission on this one. You got the Beach Boys, Wilson Phillips, John Bon Jovi, Tina Turner, Eric Clapton again. It's interesting how many times Eric Clapton shows up on some of these discs. These are one of the more recent tributes for Elton John, reimagining the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin, called Revamp. And this is the pop version, or at least in terms of the artists. So, whoops, on this one you've got Benny and the Jets, as done by Elton John and Pink, along with Coldplay, Ed Sheeran, Florence and the Machine, Mumford & Sons, Mary J. Blige, to name a few. I don't know if it'll be heard on the glare on this one, but that gives you, if you can see that, bit of a indication on who's on that one. And that one came out not too long ago. That one doesn't really say it. I think yes, there we go, 2018. on that one. And then at the same time, then they released this restoration, reimagining the songs of Elton John and Bernie Taupin. This is the Nashville edition, so obviously featuring Nashville artists, including Miley Cyrus, who's on both editions. But this one you've got Little Big Town, Don Henley and Vince Gill. You've got Leanne Womack. Okay, and a few quick soundtracks. Sound City, Reel to Reel. This is a tribute to the Sound City recording studios. This is a nice disc that features Paul McCartney and Rick Springfield. Stevie Nicks is on this one. This is a really great soundtrack. I know some people definitely picked this up on vinyl as well. I've shown this one, Echo in the Canyon. This is a tribute to the sound of Laurel Canyon. You've got a great selection of artists on this one. I think you can see that from the cover. I've already done a video on this particular disc. And I'll throw in a few live tributes, or the live tribute concert, where again they're assembling artists as a tribute to an artist or what have you. This is a really nice one. This is Remembering Stan Rogers, an East Coast tribute to the late great folk artist Stan Rogers. Features a nice selection of Canadian artists. There was a second volume on this, but I've never been able to find it, so this is the first volume on this. And also there's a Concert for George. Great concert with artists like Eric Clapton, Gary Brooker, Jeff Lynne. You've also got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Ringo Starr. Double disc on this one. So nice. Concert for George. And we've also got the Concert for Stevie Ray Vaughan, or Tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan. And this features Bonnie Raitt, Jimmy Vaughan, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, again, Eric Clapton, Dr. John, Robert Craze on this one. Really nice. Nice album. And we'll wrap it up with Bob Dylan. How about the Bob Dylan 30th Anniversary Concert Celebration with Bob Dylan in attendance, and double disc set with quite a variety of artists, including John Mellencamp, Stevie Wonder. You've also got Ron Wood on here, Neil Young, Eric Clapton, the bands featured on this, and Bob Dylan as well. Okay, so that's a tribute to tribute albums. Thanks for stopping by, and do check out Mazzy's YouTube channel.